Hello and welcome to the next session in Equimedia's digital masterclass series. I'm James Corrigan, Equimedia Planning Director. Today we're going to discuss the role that both SEO and paid search play in today's marketing mix, especially with the upcoming AI and machine learning. Are SEO and PPC still great friends working in harmony for the benefit of the greater good, or are they competing against each other for marketing supremacy? I'm joined today by two senior members of the Equimedia team, James Gardner, Head of SEO, and Jamie Prichter, Head of Paid Search, both of whom have a wealth of experience in both agency and client-side digital marketing, and one of them has a degree in applied physics. But can you guess who it is? Anyway, let's get started. The quick-fire round of questions to get us warmed up. So straight across to Jamie. Jamie, in your opinion, does PPC compete with SEO or vice versa?
Thanks, James. I didn't see the degree question coming, so I'm not sure why you had to mention my degree there. I'm not sure what James's degree is in, but no, maybe sports coaching or something along those lines. No, I think PPC, back to the main points, PPC and SEO, it doesn't really compete. We like to compete with each other, really, but actually it's a lot more about working together and how we get the best out of each other rather than competing.
And James, your thoughts on this?
I would agree they're entirely complementary with each other. The campaigns tend to work best when both are optimized and working in synchronicity, rather than to think of this is what the lead's gone to one channel or the other. They work really well together.
Cool. And James, as an SEO subject matter expert, can you give me one area where PPC actually helps you to do your job?
Yeah, I'm always badgering Jamie because pay-per-click helps us to get to a result quicker. So we can test very quickly. We can change keywords or the advert text hourly. Don't necessarily recommend that, but we can change it very frequently. And indeed, using Google's algorithms to test what is the highest click-through rate keyword or the text on the ad. And when we know that, we can apply that to the organic listings. What works for pay-per-click invariably works well for organic. And if it works well for organic, we're going to rank higher. So it's a really good way of testing before we spend time optimizing the organic and then wonder whether that's actually a keyword that's going to convert for us. So yeah, they work really well together.
I thought James said these were the quick fire questions, but there we go. That's the James Gardner answer for you. In terms of PPC and SEO, we probably utilize SEO a lot for the keyword research. I mean, the knowledge on the keyword research and content is very, very useful.
Cool. And as head of PPC, Jamie, how does SEO help you to build the most effective campaign to meet client objectives with this in mind?
Just in terms of what they've been working on a client, but before we've done any PPC, so we go to them as a starter and what's worked for them. Normally, like James said, will work for us. So it's a great starting point to come in and say, look, you've got all this information to use, rather than going in and starting from scratch.
I think a good example there is where often people say we shouldn't be bidding on brand names because we're going to get that traffic anyway for organic. Yes, you have to pay for an ad in your brand name in terms of particularly protecting you from other people advertising on your brand name. But brand names tend to convert better on a pay-per-click ad because of that extra specificity. But we need to have real consistency between the ad and the organic listing. So it looks like we're really proud of our brand. And so they both work really well together.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting point in itself, bidding on brand. I think a lot of you guys will be asking the question, especially over the last few years, should we be spending on brand? And I think that there's lots of different answers for this from a paid search point of view. Yes, no, that none of them are wrong, really. It really depends on your situation. But actually, if there's There could be nobody bidding on your brand. Is your SEO working as well as it should be? Are you already there? If sometimes there's no one bidding on your brand, we have seen slightly more traffic when we're running paid search and alongside SEO. But yeah, we could go on for hours about what is the correct thing to do in that scenario.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear from your answers that SEO and PPC need to work together to drive the best results for clients, and they complement each other as opposed to working against each other. But with that in mind, over the past sort of 12 to 24 months, have you seen any shift in the way clients have embraced these channels, or any emphasis on one channel over the other?
Yeah, definitely. I would say over the past 12 months, there's been more of a shift, I feel, towards SEO. I think probably James would say the same. With coming out of the back end of COVID, budgets being tight, I almost want to say the realization of, oh, we probably should have been doing this properly or a little bit better beforehand.
Yeah, I agree. And the competition is getting ever tougher. And you've got to get that journey from when someone is thinking about what they want to search for to actually seeing the ad or the listing on Google, to actually going through the journey on your website to taking an action, whether that's to become a lead or to purchase something. That is getting ever so more complicated, and we need to do everything to make that work. And a key aspect of SEO is focusing on that experience. And if we can get that experience working really well, then that works well for ads. So I think people are realizing they've got to get all of these elements working together. And actually, we're all really busy at the moment, which is positive. But it's because of this, of trying to make our assets work extra hard and not just having a pay-per-click campaign with the other assets not being as optimized as well as they might be.
We've talked previously, James, around kind of people content as opposed to SEO content. Is that becoming ever more important now with the likes of AI and machine learning? I mean, is there a chance that AI and machine learning could kill off SEO or PPC?
I've been doing SEO since 2007 and seen a lot of things change in that time, and rumors about SEO being killed off. SEO has always been, perhaps not in the very early years, but certainly in the last decade, about getting content that works for humans. And yes, AI will be changing that because it will change how people search. But ultimately, the people who own a website or any assets, they have to be the source of truth. If that AI bot is going off to a third party to find information that you should be owning, then you don't have any control on that. So I think all it will do is accelerate the journey, which is I'm going to ask some difficult questions of an AI bot and let it go and find that information and consolidate it. But actually, we want to take most of that from something that we have control over, which is the content on our website. So yeah, no, we're looking forward to the challenge. It's certainly going to be keeping us on our toes. But yeah, digital marketing always has been. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think from a PPC point of view, we've seen with a lot of the content that is easily creatable now with AI, and with the search generative experience that's going to come into play over the next probably couple of months already in testing in the US, that actually you're going to just need to provide Google as much as possible in terms of the description on your product to be able to get the best out of AI. So there's definitely still going to be a need for a people element here.
Yeah, and I think the biggest risk. Sorry, go on, James.
I was just going to say, with this in mind, it feels like we can control AI as opposed to AI controlling us and our marketing efforts moving forwards. So the question really is how across both PPC and SEO do we control AI or control the content that we're sharing to drive more value through AI searches?
I think AI is it's a tool. It's a tool that we need to master. It's not going to, certainly not in the short term, become our master, but we have to make sure we understand how it works and the sort of how other people, our consumers, are going to be using it. and making sure we're providing that information that they're generally looking for, and have some control over that. So actually, it's a really good way of us being able to test our content if we go into an AI bot and ask a sort of question about why, how we might be different from our competitors. If that answer comes back and we understand where that information's come from, or if we see gaps, then we need to go in and fix those gaps and making sure we're providing that answer for the bots to pull it from. So it's actually a really nice testing tool, in the same way that, you know, we like to think of Google as helping us get our content right, rather than thinking about actually what do we need to do to keep Google happy. It's
Yeah, no,
just
I think
having
it's
that understanding.
it's just the next evolution of being able to go and get information as well. So it's you had Google, where it would be the instant go-to, and there's now just more options. So it's, yeah, you've just got so much information now available to you. It's just how you use that.
Yeah, good point, James.
Cool. Okay, so I mean, they were meant to have been our quick fire round of questions, but
Okay,
so I was going to say we'll move into the depth now. But actually, knowing you chaps and the knowledge that you've got, this is it's all very valid viewpoints and information. So thanks for getting into the detail there. Traditionally, keyword research is a cornerstone of PPC and SEO campaigns. Realistically, how important is keyword research today, given that Google has so many automation tools available that in theory make building and managing campaigns automatically really easy?
Yeah, so I'll go first on this one. So I think, yeah, even though I'll touch on SEO, I think it does remain fundamental for both. I think when you're looking to build a campaign from the start, you want to understand and have a look at how much each keyword is relatively going to cost, or roughly going to cost. It really can give you some quite scary numbers sometimes, but it does give you a rough idea of what you're looking at and how far you can stretch that budget. Obviously, then as you go through that, those CPCs look to change, but you've got a starting point from how competitive is this keyword, what are the volumes like over the last 12 months, when is there more volume, and how does that then build into your campaign. But also then you've got ad copy optimization, so looking at keywords, making sure that they are involved in your ad copy, making sure that everything is working towards providing the best experience for the user from start to finish, what they're searching versus what they're seeing. And then that goes into a bit of what we'll probably touch on a little bit later, is landing pages and optimization. So it's really that full journey through keyword research then has to be reflected in probably the next 4 or 5 different things that you're going to do. And then obviously you've got negative keywords, so it's making sure that you're again looking at keyword, doing your keyword research for that. What and how do people not want to show in the same sense that they do?
Yeah, I think an example of that is in B2B marketing. Often we find a high volume keyword that looks fantastic and great in terms of volume, but it's a negative keyword for the B2B business because it's aimed at consumers, and they're certainly not wanting to attract consumers directly to contact them because they sell through distributors or what else. So that's an example where Jamie can help me find the negative keywords, and then we can adapt the language that we use on the content to use the language that the prospect is using. And if a prospect is a B2B business, then we need to avoid those consumer keywords. And often it's a very different language. So that's where the keyword research that might start with Jamie and his pay-per-click team to extend on to what we're trying to optimize for the user. Does that answer your question, James?
It certainly does. I was just going to say, so this is where the clients that we're working with on both their PPC and their SEO see the true benefit and almost existential benefit from that, is that we deliver so much more than 2 channels working alongside each other. It's how do they support each other and essentially allow us the access to more information to build stronger, more effective campaigns.
Yeah, and I think to add on that a little bit more, because it's probably worth touching on. I think given that actually now there's a big push towards broad match, when you're looking at keyword research, and you could, if you wanted to, set up a campaign broad match one keyword, and then there's going to be hundreds and thousands of different searches related to that keyword. Now, realistically, you still need that people element to be able to go in and understand what is perfect for your business and what you really are actually aiming to get to. You're never going to find all the keywords, so that is why broad match and I was going to say a DSA, but DSA is also being changed into Performance Max now. So they were a great way, or DSA campaigns were a great way to mine keywords, and now that's really just becoming broad match. But yeah, I feel like I'm waffling on a little bit there, so please do stop me. I think what I was trying to say is that really you still need to do your keyword research, even if you're looking at using just broad match, and make sure you've got a good understanding with the client as well, because there are going to be, I think that the stat with Google is there's 15% new searches every day. So yeah, you're never going to find all the keywords, but it's just understanding which random searches are actually relevant for what you're trying to achieve.
And are they actually converting? So we might have a keyword that we think is fantastic, it's driving really high volumes, but at the end of the day, it's what converts for our clients. And so we just need to be not too precious about keywords, and be willing to review them on a regular basis. And if it doesn't convert, then we need to kill it.
That's a good point. I think not too precious about keywords. I think you can, if me or either of you two looked at a keyword and said that's not going to convert, then we're not going to put it into our campaign. However, 2 weeks later, we're running a broad match campaign. Someone has searched using that keyword with a slightly different intent, but the intent is the same for the overall goal, and it drives a conversion. So I think not being too precious on your keywords is a very good point.
And Google is very good now on an organic perspective of understanding synonyms or very close matches. So we don't necessarily have to put every single variant of that keyword onto the page. If we're using the language of an expert, then that language will naturally be incorporated. As long as we've got enough content on there to be able to use the language naturally, then Google will understand close synonyms. So it's not a case of chasing keywords when we write content.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, thanks for that. In a similar vein, and you touched on this just now, Jamie, talking around landing pages and optimizations within digital marketing campaigns. What do we do, or what's the best approach or best practice to ensure that optimizations and landing pages deliver the strongest performance for client campaigns?
Well, it's making sure that experience is good for the user from start to finish. So what have they searched? Can they see what they're searching for in an ad that's compelling, or actually does that then draw them in? Then once they click through that ad, and they probably read the top line of the ad, to be honest, maybe not all of it. I'd like to think people read all the ads, but it's probably that couple of headlines, and then they're going through, are they seeing the same on that landing page, or is it completely irrelevant and something different? Now you will have to pay more per click if your landing page isn't as relevant. So there are a lot of benefits in that sense, but actually the most benefit is that the user has a really good experience from start to finish. So it's just making sure that we're matching everything up, and then when they get to the website, the landing page is working nice and fast, a seamless experience, really.
Yeah, we want to carry the scent through from what's in my mind that I then type into a search engine. I then see the ad, I then click through to the landing page, and I know instantly, without having to think about it, that I'm on the right page. So it's carrying that scent through from the beginning to the landing page, and testing that is really key. For our larger clients, we tend to use tools like VWO, which are very sophisticated. But for many of our clients, we use Google Ads experiments. to do that testing for us. So that's really quite simple. We set up 2 landing pages. We set an ad up, which Jamie will probably better explaining than I am, but we can send a ratio, typically 50-50, to landing page A and to landing page B, and we see which one has the highest conversion rate or engagement rate, and then we use that to copy it across to the A page. And we have experience that when we copy those learnings across to the organic page, those organic pages not only convert better, but they rank higher, so we get more traffic. And that's a really nice example of where we can use SEO and pay-per-click together.
Whilst we're talking about landing pages, we're talking about sort of long-term benefits and growth from landing pages. But what's your take on kind of short-term seasonal marketing campaigns? So, summer sales, Christmas and Black Friday events.
Google's advice is very clear on this, is that certainly from an organic perspective, be ready for it and have your page up and allow Google to start understanding it well before that season comes in. So don't have a Christmas 2023 page, have a Christmas page that you use every year and build that out. Now that's going to impact some of the other parts of the website. So just also have a plan for how you're going to come out of that seasonal sale. So, early January, you're going to come out of that and you might go into a sale. Have a plan for that ahead of time, rather than just make the website look entirely different as soon as you've finished. Jamie, you've got a slightly different perspective on this, I think.
Yeah, it's from a PPC point of view, it's just making sure, like, what campaigns are we going to run? Is it going to be probably a lot of people now running Performance Max for some of these seasonal ones? So do you have all the assets available? Do you have images? Do you have some video? The video is probably, Google will run its own video if you don't input your own. So it is best to have video available, and it doesn't have to be a really tricky, hard to make video. It can be a simple video that you input that takes very little time to do, but will have benefits for your campaign. Now, Google and setting up campaigns used to have a longer learning period. They are getting shorter, but again, you want to be making sure you've got a clear plan in place. If it's products, what products are we using in these sales? How do we want to go about actually promoting these products? Is it any different? Is there a bigger sale? Do we want to use countdown copy? It's all about drawing the user in to the offer that you've got on.
Yeah.
So I think then it's pretty clear that planning for the event far enough in advance is really important. The consistency of the messaging across the year, and then really important that kind of post-event activity. So how do you
I would actually say
planning?
Yeah, planning is probably the most important for these events, because a lot of people don't plan for these, or they do plan but leave it a little bit too late. So and then almost a week before, can we do something for this? Well, yeah, let's do something. Have you got any assets? Not yet. And then it's almost, you get not very long, but it's almost better just to have a plan in place, build up slowly, and then again make sure you've got your landing pages sorted. Like James was saying, Christmas running every year, we can then go back to that. We can point to that from a PPC point of view as well, and everything works better.
Yeah, and that's a really key point there as well, Jamie, in that these events do happen every year. So it's not like you should be surprised that on the 25th of December this year, it's going to be Christmas Day again. We should be able to plan, a year in advance and have a really good visibility over what's coming up, how we focus on those kind of key calendar events, and then specific kind of tactical pieces of activity in between. So again, comes back to that kind of consistent and ongoing planning.
I think it also has to be a genuine reason to have a sale. It's not a way of a justification of another discount. So, sometimes we see clients want to do Chinese New Year. Generally, Chinese New Year is not a big occasion in this country. If you want to give a discount, but don't make it up that it's a Chinese New Year discount, and then wonder why the sales in the week before have dipped, because everybody's waiting for that discount code to come out. So if it's going to be a sale, make it impactful, but have there for a good reason rather than just to give away a free discount code.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting as well with what we see over the next coming years with Black Friday. It's changed. It's gone from Black Friday to a week before Black Friday last year. Some people were even doing months of Black Friday sales. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's almost now a fake Black Friday, which is obviously the Friday before, and that does now see a peak as well. So yeah, there's a lot of different options available when it comes to Black Friday now.
I think the other thing as well, just sort of going back to your point, James, is that you need to be consistent across your other media channels as well, don't you? So if you suddenly, blurt out with a different message that something's happening next week that nobody's aware of, it's probably not going to be as impactful as if you had, a really strong programmatic campaign running, targeting the same audience, almost kind of giving them that, appointment to listen or appointment to turn on. So that again goes back to planning that we mentioned previously. Just mindful of time here, chaps. We thought this was going to be a short 15-minute session, but we're getting really into the nitty-gritty of this. So this is really good. A couple more questions for you. Going back to the impact that AI and machine learning could potentially have on digital marketing, what are the key areas that we need to be mindful of across SEO and PPC? Come to you first, James.
I would recommend to everybody to go and use the bots, go and use ChatGPT, go and use Google Bard, and work out how you would use it and how people that use it. And then think about how we can be ready. It's going to come across much quicker than we perhaps anticipated. Don't be frightened of it, but think of it as a tool that you can use to improve your marketing campaigns.
Yeah, and I think with paid search, it's a bit different because we've been using AI and machine learning with all the bidding strategies for a little while now. But I do think that they are getting better as well. So make sure that you're actually giving Google as much as possible to be able to make the most of these bidding strategies.
Okay, brilliant, thank you. And finally, if there's one thing that you would like your clients to focus on as we kind of prepare for the retirement of third-party cookies, what would that be?
Well, I think this is an easy one for me because we touched on it in the previous masterclass, which would be making sure that your Google account or your paid search is set up for when cookies actually disappear. So do you have consent mode set up? Do you have enhanced conversions turned on? And are you utilizing everything that's already available to you within the platform?
And I would say answer it slightly differently in as much that we are going to have less visibility when cookies disappear. So focus on what's important for your users, and it will be on some of the major journeys. So you will have less clarity on some of the minor pages you've got on your website or the more niche journeys. Focus on what's important and optimize that with the information you've got available to hand.
Brilliant. That's really useful and something that obviously all of our clients should be considering moving forward. So that pretty much rounds off today's masterclass session on SEO and paid search. I hope you found the session interesting and informative. Please do get in touch if you'd like to discuss anything that we've shared in more detail, including details of the cookieless future. Jamie and his team have put together a PPC checklist, which will, with access, allow them to essentially audit your PPC campaign and come back with some really strong recommendations that will kind of help you move into this new era. This is an absolute must to future-proof your PPC accounts for the retirement of third-party cookies.
Yeah, and what it will do, just quickly, I'm pushing it out, but it will just give you a percentage. What percentage are you ready? It will give you what you need to do and what you need to work on, which is probably a real benefit to any marketing managers out there that need a plan for the next three months, I would say.
Great stuff. So if you want to get in touch with us to have a chat about any of these points in more detail, you can email us at inquiries@equimedia.co.uk. Reach out to myself, Jamie or James, or any of the Equimedia team via LinkedIn or via our website, equimedia.co.uk. Thanks ever so much for listening today. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Bye.
Thanks, James.
Bye-bye now. Cheers.